Alright, we're almost ready to get started here. Tonight we're doing some Harvest Moon DS corruptions, which I'm really excited about. I always love Harvest Moon DS. And corrupting it just makes it that much funner. I'm gonna get some water, and then in about 2 or 3 minutes we'll get started here. Alright, I think we're just about ready here. I got sweet tea today. It's very nice. Music's from Undertale, the original soundtrack. I love playing Undertale, but fan base is interesting. So yeah, Harvest Moon. I got that running down below there. I couldn't find a nice way to separate the two screens, so I have top screen over to the left, and then bottom screen down in the bottom. We probably don't even need to use the bottom screen, but I'm having it there just because. Previously when I did DS emulations, or corruptions I should say, I would have a really big window for the main window and a really tiny one, and I would swap between them. I'm already going to be making corruptions on the side, so I think that combined with trying to... I see my hands moving in the top view, I should switch that. Creating the corruptions along with trying to switch the views constantly, I feel like I'm going to just confuse myself in the end. So instead, we're just going to keep this view down below, and later if I find that I should switch the main monitors, I will. But for now we're just doing this. This is a brand new corruptor that I've never used before. It's not brand new, it's an older one. It predates the real-time corruptor. However, the real-time corruptor, it mostly has the NES in mind, the NES system in mind when it's creating its corruptions. Whereas this VineCorrupt.exe uses a bunch of different systems, so it makes it much easier to corrupt on NES, SNES, Nintendo 64. I'm reading down a list: Game Boy, Nintendo DS, which we're doing today, GameCube, Wii, PlayStation, Sega Genesis, or miscellaneous if you want to specify your own. But I think that's fantastic. We do a lot of those different corruptions, and it's just another way of corrupting. Something I noticed off the bat that this featured that a lot of corruptors don't, at least in depth, is specifically how you attack the bits. I'm going to use the word attack, or how you corrupt them. So either you can shift bits around by essentially multiplying by powers of 1 or 2 or 3, or you can swap bits, or you can add bits, set bits, random bits, bitwise, operations, or XOR complements, all that kind of stuff. That gives us a lot of operations that we can perform upon the data that we're looking at. I don't know this emulator, not this emulator, these corruptor in and out, so it might take me a little bit to figure it out. Like step size, I'm assuming is, you know, how many bits or how many, I guess it'd be objects? Whether it's an integer or a character or a string, every 200th item is like an increment value. Start and stop is where we're going to start and stop in the actual ROM. And I think we specify 0. Oh no, I guess it would be to the end. Let me make sure I have documentation available on it before we begin. So this is the VineCorrupt emulator corruptor. I'm going to keep saying emulator and corruptor all night and confusing the two. Now I believe this doesn't have too extensive of a documentation resource like the real-time corruptor does. And if you're curious, actually, if you Google VineCorrupt, it will give you an explanation of all the different operators that I was looking at earlier. Shift, swap, add, set. It gives a bunch of different examples in case you're curious what those are. Or if you've ever taken discrete mathematics, same kind of idea. This also supports hotkeys, which is neat. I haven't utilized hotkeys yet. I don't really need to yet. I'm okay with just kind of clicking because then you can kind of see what I'm doing on screen. But I want to see whether we need to specify a start and end byte. Whether we need to say we're corrupting at this specific location, which we should skip ahead a little bit, like at least to 1,000 or so, just so we pass like system functions and we go just directly into the ROM. Or whether we need to specify an ending address. Okay, so stop the offset of the ROM where the programmer will stop corrupting. A value of 0 marks the end of the ROM. So 0 is like auto end. So we don't have to actually change that value. However, I should change the starting address. What I should change it to is a good question. I'm going to look up documentation on the Nintendo DS and see kind of where we should begin corrupting. And I can use that using the Corrupt Wiki, because they give a basic idea, I think, for Game Boy Advance corruptions, but it'll give me a kind of an idea about how big the BIOS usually is. So we'll look at that. Or I'll pull that up and decide where. Recommended starting value is about 500, and that's with NES. We'll do 1,000. Start byte, 1,000. We'll give that a try. What's up, Smart Cardboard Box? How you doing? Good to see ya. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Okay, so we got to stop bytes, and you might draw attention to this little thing off to the left here. So something that didn't exist in the previous versions of the other corruptors we're using, like the real-time corruptor, and especially the VineSauce ROM corruptor, which is very bare bones, is we get kind of an idea of what we're going to be corrupting within the ROM. So I've actually already selected title here, which is actually the title when you load in for, say, Harvest Moon. It's going to be the title beginning screen. And you can look into this and see which specific files are going to be corrupting. So in this case, we're doing title.bin and title.e.bin. No clue what the difference is, but there is. And if we want to, you know, we could do map, item, fonts, whole variety of things. And we're going to try out all those things while we begin corrupting. So let me go and lower the music here. Love that soundtrack, though. And we'll do our first corruption of the evening. I won't be saving these corruptions, and I have a very specific reason why, which I'll explain a little bit later. But, way to corrupt. It will reload, but... oh no, great. Off the bat, we actually already got something. So, I like that I can target specific locations within the ROM, like the title screen, or say like the items, because that's already fantastic results, and we've hardly done anything. Especially the Harvest Moon logo. I gotta be careful I'm not drowning myself out, so I'll turn that down a little bit. So that's great. You can see a little bit of the Harmu, and then it's just all gibberish after that. It doesn't look like any of the actual character models are corrupted. And I think we can achieve that later on. Let me turn that down on my mic, my headphone, just so I can hear myself talk. Model. I imagine that would be Chara, this one here. We'll start messing with that in a sec. First, we're gonna mess around with these variables. So right now we're corrupting... Actually, I don't know what this refers to. So we're doing random. I don't know what the 20 refers to, so let me check that out. This is a step value? No, it's not a step value. What's going on, Wasabi Tonic? Good to see you too. I got a Wasabi hello for you that I can't type into Restream. I'm actually gonna type it in the chat. There's a Wasabi hello. What's going on? I don't know what this 20 refers to. What's it was previously set to 20, so let's actually rerun it. One annoying thing that I don't like about the VineCorrupt program is I need to forcibly close Desume like that anytime I want to rerun a new corruption. I wish it would auto-close for me and rerun it, but it's okay, it doesn't. So this definitely does have an effect, because what I'm seeing is, yeah, there's a different title screen that's slightly less corrupted, or corrupted in a different fashion. Like we see now a little bit more of Harvest than we did before. It says H-A-R-V-E, a little bit of the E. So I don't know what that number actually adjusts. If it was step size, like how often we corrupt within the realm, that would make more sense, but it's not. Also, let's adjust step size. I'm curious, it's gonna adjust the intensity of the corruption. So force close, rerun. I feel like I should have some like nice background music. So that's a very intense corruption with a lot of corruption going on where you can't even see what's on the screen anymore. Just clown vomit. Doesn't even look like it. Doesn't even look like a sign anymore. Cool. So let's bring step size back up to 200, and I'd like to mess around with maybe not random data types. Let's try shifting. Let's shift 2 bytes. So I know this would be the amount you want to shift. So let's shift 2. Maybe bytes, maybe bits. I don't actually know what the value is going to be for this, but we'll shift 2 of whatever it is. And that actually has a catastrophic effect like the step size did before, but instead we're just doing a different operation. In which case we're, that's actually a really big effect. We're adjusting the power of the value we're sending to it. Can I actually do anything here? I don't think I have my controller set up. Oh no, I can. And remember, that's just the title screen, so actually the rest of the game will work just fine. Just because we're corrupting the title, and if you wanted to, why don't you package that up, send it to a friend, tell him to play it, and just the title's messed up, nothing else. I like that idea. We're gonna do the same thing, but try shifting 5. What's 2 to the 5th? Oh, I don't know my powers on the top of my head. I should know my powers. I think it's 16. 16 or 32. Anyways, that's what we're multiplying the values by. And it's not too much of a different effect. Similar. Alright, let's try swapping. I want to see how that works, because swapping should give me 2 values, but it doesn't. It says swap grabs the current byte and a byte given distance away and swaps their values. Huh. So, in which case, we have a step value, which says just set step value to be 5. And if I add a corruption value of 2, that means that every 5 steps, we're going to swap the 5th element with the 2nd element, is how I understand that to be. I don't know when I would ever use this, but I'm glad we have it. It won't even run. Oh no, the ammo. Very badly. And that actually might be it. That is it? Okay. Step size of 5 is a little bit much. Maybe me step size at 50 again. Because we're pretty much breaking everything in the title if we do that. Even 50 is pretty bad. Wow. Let's do swap with 10. Turboing. Nah, that's not running. Okay. Huh, how about that? I didn't think that would be the one that broke it. Okay, we can try 500. I don't think that will have as much of an effect as I'd like it to. That just still won't run. Alright. Well, let's move on. Instead of swap, we're going to move to add. Add the simple one. Every 500 steps, we're going to add the value 10. Right. So let's give that a go. I'm wondering if something's wrong. Let me make sure I can still run the original. It's the original. Still runs alright. And the corrupted ROM should be this one. Is that the corrupted ROM? No, that's not. That's my own copy of my corrupted ROM. Never mind. Okay, let's do every 2000, add the value 1. Which should be fairly small effects. And yet it's still like full crash. We tried shifting before, and we tried shifting to... No, we didn't do shifting. We did random bits for 20. Start 1000. That all seems correct. I'm going to close down Sume again. And if this doesn't work, I'm going to restart VineCorrupt. Yeah, because there's something kind of finicky going on here. So let me restart that real quick. Thankfully, OBS saves most of my settings. I just need to retell it where all it is. Let's go do that real quick. There's 1. And there's 2. I said thankfully, but really it doesn't, so never mind. This is... it takes too much work to do all this. What am I missing? I have the step size, I need the ROM file. By the way, this is my own personal copy of my ROM. This is my home edition of Harvest Moon DS. This is like a copy I had when I was a kid that I extracted. This is actually my childhood favorite game, Harvest Moon DS. It's a great game. Okay, got most of this set up in the background. I just need to choose a location to extract it to, which is now done. And starting location, we're gonna do 1000 again. Okay, and corrupt. Something's wrong, but I can't figure out what it is. Let me see here. I'm gonna try extracting to a different location. Maybe that'll work. Right now we're going to personal file folder. We'll make another personal file folder called Harvest Moon. In the meantime, let me put music back on. There we go. Well, I'm trying to get it to work. That worked. Okay. I think it kept rerunning like a copy of the game that was saved there and it wasn't reloading the new version? Maybe something like that? I don't know. Anyways, that worked. And the shift is different. So cool. We did something right. We're not going to touch swap again. I don't want to touch that again because that kind of broke everything. We're going to use the value set, which sets a value at a location every 200th step. We're going to set the value of 0. and give that a go. Sometimes values should not be 0, and they have interesting results when they are. Yeah, this is actually not that bad. Looks kind of nice. We'll do every 100 bytes. And the reason why I won't be saving these corruptions in a stockpile like I normally do is because VineCorrupt, actually, when you save the corruptions themselves, it creates an NDS file, or a Nintendo DS ROM file, which I can't distribute because that's a ROM file. I can't distribute those. It's against TOS, so I won't be creating a stockpile for this. If I would be able to save states, then I would export those, but you would still need the NDS file to run them, so kind of a hassle. We won't deal with it. We'll just create them live on stream and leave it at that. Anyways, this is every 100th byte, and I want to start messing with the character model, so we're going to deselect title, which is just the title data within memory, and instead we're going to select CHARA, which I believe is the character models themselves, in which case there's actually not that many people there. Animal.bin, boy.bin, character.bin. It leads me to believe that the actual sprites we're seeing down below aren't stored in there, but we can check it out anyways. Instead, we're going to do a random selection for corruption value of 20 every 200 bytes. And let's give that a go. So I don't have characters, or I don't have title selected. It's interesting the title's still being corrupted. Yeah, why is that? So that shouldn't be happening, but it is. This has to do with the file thing again. Let me go look at that file and see why it's not being cleared. I don't know why that is. Maybe I should keep that folder open and just keep deleting it. Stupid problems have stupid solutions. So this is if I just delete that file, it creates a new file, and that new file doesn't run? Is that right? Also, I just noticed the edge of these windows just barely overlap each other. I'm gonna fix that now. Okay. So that didn't load. Let's corrupt again. So I'm having odd results of this. When I tested it off the bat, I had a lot of good results. It's not the same case anymore. There's a file that's there in the directory that I specified to extract to. Okay, so it's deselect everything, no corruptions. Now we're going to corrupt it, which should have no effect. It should run as normal, and it does. Okay, so maybe corrupting character actually broke the game in that sense. Which, okay, that's fair. I understand that at least. Let's increase our step size to 500 then, and try it again. Figuring stuff out as we go. I don't know if this worked. I guess we have to see if there's any character corruptions. There's not. Let me delete the folder again. And recorrupt. Okay. So it just seems that there's no effect. So we have to decrease our step size or change our corruption method. I'm going to decrease the step size to 300. It also really bothers me that I can't, I get why I can't corrupt while I'm, what you call it? Dasumi has to be open. It's the emulator I'm currently using to run my software. Or to run my copy of Harvest Moon, I should say, the corrupted copy. And that accesses a directory. That directory is currently being used by Tsume, so in order to change the directory, I need to close Tsume. So it makes sense why I need to do it, I just don't like the fact that I have to. So that didn't work. Let's try adding, like, the value of 1. Just a very small change, and we can still keep it 300. Okay, I skipped a little bit there, but that actually seemed to work, so we're gonna rerun that. It was mostly when the character got to the end. Didn't like it. Well, yeah, that there. For like half a second. It doesn't seem like the character's actually corrupted down below, though. And I want to see if that's actually the case, so we're actually going to create a save state instead. And I hope that that works. I don't know how save states are going to work with this corruption method. So I'm going to load a fresh copy, 0 corruptions, but still on the corrupted ROM itself. Meaning I have to close this down. Within that folder, I want to see... I don't think that will run into any trouble. Hopefully not. So we're just gonna skip ahead here. What's your name? Tech. Backspace. Step okay, sure. What's your birthday? Winter 31st. Let's name your farm. It's Crashy. Crashy Farm. Dog's name. Spark. Cat's name. Dog. Works for me. Okay. I'll let this run. Just so at least once we have an intro. I do hope we can create save states, because that will at least open us up to gameplay. If we can't do save states, it's gonna be a lot of work to get in between gameplay, and we have to do this every single time, which wouldn't be enjoyable. She said she'd do it. And she done did it. Turned to stone. Our spreads are like, really? That's right, of course, I sent her to another world. Without the Harvest Goddess, my life will be boring. I'm just gonna keep skipping ahead a little bit. telling me to go to the harvest sprites. Alright, got it. Puts me right at the door. Where'd everyone go? I played this game before I played Wonderful Life, and my mind was blown when I figured out that the backgrounds to like all of these like little moments where you're either like seeing something on TV or you're having like a hard event and there's a background there. I didn't know that the backgrounds were actually a game that were in the Harvest Moon universe. And it took me, like, I played this game over and over again for like 5 to 10 years. And then I found out of Wonderful Life a little late. Would have loved to have known that when I was younger, though. I probably would have played that to death, too. I'm at least waiting until we get to the house. I like the sprite introduction in this a little bit. When we actually get to the house, and I think we get a little introduction from the mayor, or Gus, the shipper. Is it Gus? We'll skip that part. The sound design and the music and all that stuff brings me back, though. I want to hit the rain. I love the rain in these games. I hit Alt to mute. Didn't know that muted. Anyway. We're just gonna skip ahead a little bit more. Did it? Oh, okay. We'd have to talk, I guess, a little bit. To Thomas. Help me. Gotta help him. Okay, cool. Save state. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 save states. Just in case. So now we're gonna see. We can load that save state. Can we apply corruption using VineCorrupt, which creates a new... I'm gonna call it an ISO file. It's a new ROM file. Can we still use that save state on a new ROM? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. So we'll see if that's the case with this. We're gonna corrupt character once again. I need to close this down. Make sure the corruption actually runs, so the game runs. This one doesn't, so we're gonna do less intense corruption every 500. Okay, that one runs. And even, we can see a little bit of the corruption we saw this one earlier. And we can load a save state. However, do we know this save state contains the corrupted data? Maybe not. Because now I'm looking at it and there's not really anything that is obviously corrupted. Let's corrupt map and item as well. Again, we need to close everything down. Okay, corruption still exists. Loading this. So the way to apply the corruption would be to load the data once again. We need to load the data once again by leaving an area, essentially. Because everything that we're loading in the save state is already drawn to screen, it's already loaded in memory, and we need to reload all that data in order to get the corrupted data. So, or we need to refetch it in order to get the corrupted data, essentially. So that changes a few things. I'm gonna load our fresh game again by doing this. We're going to move our saves, our character over here. This shouldn't be corrupted. This is the... I think if I don't apply any corruption to any domains, then it will use the last directory that was created. So I was still using the previous graphics directory. If that makes sense. I don't know if it does. Anyway, this one should be fine. It is because I removed the directory from the place I'm extracting it to. Anyways, we're gonna make new save states here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we can just quickly walk off the screen and walk into the location once again in order to reload all the things we see on screen. And now we're just gonna corrupt a map, because I think we saw an effect immediately with that last time. Let's do that again. Yeah. So we do see an effect immediately with the map corruption. It's actually hard to tell what anything is, and I don't remember actually what the map looks like. Like, I think that's the bar down there. Natalie's mansion's all the way to the left and up here. Yeah. This corrupts everything. Buildings and all. Let me go up to the mansion. I'm gonna talk to people. There you go. Is something wrong? Something's very wrong. I don't think I can explain it to you, though. But interiors... Oh, no. Okay. I was gonna say, they're actually okay. But now they're a little corrupted as well. Oh, I didn't expect an event at all. That actually surprised me. Should I go check it out? There's a lot of messed up things in this world, Tech. I don't think we should check this out. If I'm not mistaken, I heard it from this area. She was the one behind the corruptions all along. No. Okay, we're actually not going to continue this. We're going to quit out of this. And we're going to bitwise or? Let's try bitwise or. The value 1. And can I draw a demonstration? I don't know. I don't have a place I can draw. Look up bitwise or. I don't think I'm going to do a very good job of explaining any of the bitwise operations, but I'm not going to try. I would make a shame of myself if I tried. Make a joke of myself if I tried. This is bitwise or with 1. But you know, it's actually kind of still viewable, alright. You still see the buildings and how they contrast with the rest of the map, which is nice looking. Inside the buildings actually looks great. There's a griffin. Poor old griffin. Crazy scientist house. This map part is actually not... it's a little corrupted. Not really, though. It's not as bad as the rest of the area. It's not like Cloud Vomit over here. It's just some slight mess up. Like the trailer's a little bad. Except the trees, but for the most part, it's actually alright, which is funny. Now let's try this with bitwise and instead. Close it down. Corrupt. There we go. And I imagine that'd be a lot... Actually, I imagine this would be a lot better, but it looks a lot worse in the end. So, this is bitwise and with 1. Let's try bitwise and with 0. Actually, no, it makes sense why this isn't. This is extremely bad, is because a lot of the values probably aren't 1. So, it sets them all to be 0. And that leads to a really bad looking result. Poor Grant. Just going to work. Okay, so that's enough with the map. Let's do the sound now, because the sound is wonderful and I love every moment of it, so we need to corrupt it so I don't like it as much. Right? And I was wondering, so the sound's working here. Does it still work in the other area? It does, because we're adding 0. We're actually not adding anything. That's why. I would also remove the directory so we don't have the visual corruptions anymore. I also think that's why we're still seeing visual corruptions, is because... I think it's because even though we deselected the value or the item within the directory structure here, it doesn't mean that we're returning it back to its original state. In order to do that, I either need to delete the directory itself, or I need to... There's no like way to restore the directory anywhere on the VineCorrupt program. So I think the only way to do that is to actually delete the directory to where you extracted it to in order to go back. Which is a little unfortunate. I wish there was a restore unselected. That would make me happy, but anyway. I don't think that'd be that hard either. It would just be like reloading the NDS file with the unselected items. Yeah. Just thinking. Sound. We're doing sound. So let's do that. We're going to corrupt. We're going to add the value of 1. But we need to close this down first. I'm sure actually we're going to hear a little bit here too. A little bit. Actually kind of sounds nicer. Not nicer. It sounds different in a nice way. Yeah, that's not too bad. And this music I think will be okay, but it's when we switch areas, it'll actually get corrupted. Yeah. Oh, I'm capturing my mouse. Yell at me if you see me do that. I'm actually gonna turn off... Ooh, what is that? I'm gonna turn off mouse viewing for this window. Don't do that. Don't capture cursor. Okay. There we go. Now we see cursor down here, but not up there. Awesome. This sounds amazing. Let's try adding the value of 3 instead. I feel like corrupting with this is a lot safer. It sounds like that's just one instrument that really got messed up. Corrupting this way is a lot safer because we don't have to worry about a bunch of different memory domains and corrupting into like crashing. Instead, we can just focus specifically on sound and stuff like that. Just very nice. So, we're gonna reload. Now we're adding the value of 3, which should have a more interesting effect. We can also decrease our step size. We'll do that in the future. Get nice and loud. We haven't had a lot of this yet, but I should mention, if you are sensitive to flashing lights or really loud sounds, I recommend just not watching the stream. We do have a lot of flashing lights, and if you're sensitive to that type of material, unfortunately it's out of my control. These are random for the most part, so you know, be safe. Avoid them if you can. And this sounds great. Let's try the step size a little bit more. Let's really corrupt it. We'll bring it down to 50. So give that another go. I want to hear the title screen, so we'll also watch that. It's like someone playing it on a recorder. Oh. It's Harvest Moon in New York. I was doing some gameplay. It's the birds. The birds. That bird's not okay. There's something very, very wrong with that bird. These sounds are fine. It's just the music. What sound files are included anyways? Sound data dot... I don't know what those types are. 3 different types though. Anyways. Press F to pay respects to bird. Oh, I just realized my chat. There we go. That wasn't showing up before. Put that up a little bit higher. Cool. Let's go hear the rest. It's playing a different song! That's just crusty. I love it. Okay, we were adding before. Now we're gonna try random to see how that does. I already love the results. We're gonna bring random up to 20. Let's start a little bit higher. Let's go up to 500 to start off with. Okay. Intro music. Not too bad. Wait for the drop though. Not bad. It actually sounds kind of nice in my opinion. Gameplay. The bird might have a little bit of asthma. Every time it gets loud and then it gets really quiet, but it's okay. How about over here? Also kind of reasonable. I don't mind that. Okay. Let's bring that step down to 10. Let's just... Oh. Let's just destroy it. This won't have any remnant. Maybe we'll have a small remnant of the original music, but hardly any. We'll listen to the intro to start off with, and then we'll hear the actual gameplay. Was that too much? It won't even run that. Wow. Okay. 25. Give that a go. Half of 50. Oh, I shouldn't do that though. I want to hear the intro. Do that again. Oh, we can't load the intro. Great. Can we load this? No, we can't. Okay. We'll do 50, just like before. And load. It's not adding though, this is random. Oh. I hit the turbo button and I flinched. This sounds like someone's like playing in the back alley. And a bunch of cymbals. Oh. No. It was like that giant truck in Sonic. Which Sonic was that? Also, this is a quality soundtrack. Lost World? Not Lost World. So there's a giant semi in Sonic. I should pause this. Or, here. Alt to mute. Okay. Still running. Or pause. There's one of those Sonic games with like the giant truck that that follows you down a street. What game was that? I forget. Anyways, the piano reminded me of that. Let's do gameplay. The bird's as tweaked out as ever. Yeah, stop feeding those birds. I have a limiter on the stream, so it's much quieter for you guys than it is for me. But I'll suffer through the pain. I love me some childhood memories. Oh, no. Alright, let's stop messing with the sound. I enjoyed it while we did, though. So we've messed with title and sound and a little bit of character, but that didn't produce the effect I was looking for. What's console? Touch animal. Base. Television. These are all like... Don't do that. These are all like interaction-based things. We're not gonna do that yet. Effects. Effect.bin. That would imagine be like particle effects and sparkles and stuff like that. I would think. Let's try effect. I'm curious what that does. We'll keep the parameters the same. I don't think we need to change any of those. See if the intro's affected. Nope. Load game. Game looks fine. Yeah, I don't know what actually that entails. I kind of wish I can go even further and like look at what's in the bin file, but it'd probably be garbage to look at. Some of these I worried I wouldn't be able to figure out like what the corruption is, and I feel like I would miss out. But I guess that's alright to not know a couple. Okay, let's move on. So that doesn't seem to produce any effect. Fonts. Let's do font. Corrupt all the fonts that are on screen. Doesn't sound as interesting as sound, but that's alright. And I don't think we'll see any in the title screen, but how about in the game? Well, we need to mess up... Actually, these seem alright. Is that actually walking? Does it, like, walk you through the world? I never knew how the map worked. Oh, maybe not. Okay, anyways. Getting distracted by features. Fonts doesn't seem to be doing anything. I thought, like, if we changed the screen and came back, like, now it would say, it would mess up the font here, for example. Nicholas shows effects of tools used on map squares touch. I like that. But I'm not seeing any effects on the font, so move on. Item message. Item messages. Oh. Okay, let's try item now. We'll keep it at 50. I'm wondering if I should increase the step size. Maybe not. So, item. Do we have one in our hand? We don't. Let's put one in our hand. I have no clue how to use items. There we go. S. A. A. I don't know what that does. I don't know what corrupting item does. I think we're gonna leave that one be. There's a lot of these I don't know, actually. Message. Show up this as an effect. There we go. Check the item messages. This might be when we only get new items. I imagine it would affect this text, but it would need to load that text, and I think it would only load it if you got a new item. So the ones we already have, possibly it doesn't load them. Like, they're associated with the item, so it's already written. So maybe it just needs to access, like, an object's description. And since we own that object, it doesn't need to get a new description. Something like that, that's what I'm imagining. So that's why affecting message might not do anything here. Maybe. Getting new objects, not hard though. Let's try getting... These are items specifically, but we can try getting something like grass. There we go. That's exactly what it was, because now there's no pointer acceptor. No pointer exception, meaning that the text doesn't know when to end, so it's just going on forever and ever and ever. That's why we still hear the text going. And just getting rid of the item actually fixes that. It seems to be all of that. How about this? Materials cut with an axe found on farmland. That's actually normal, surprisingly. Found on farmland, and then it cuts off again. Either like it overwrote where the null pointer exception is supposed to be, or there just is none, so it keeps on going. Let's increase our step size for this to really increase that effect. Corrupt again. This was with 5, so this might be too much for it. No, it's alright. Current items actually are affected, so P, hammer's fine, grass is fine. True of the seed. All the tools are fine, which is kind of funny, but... So only certain items are actually being affected here. Like, grass, for example. I'm about to sneeze. Grass, for example, is affected, whereas tools are not. So that makes me think that... Maybe... What does that make me think? I don't know. Tools... descriptions are stored somewhere else? That's not even English. There's like witch symbols in that. This is witchwood. That's also witchwood. How about this guy? Stone R use. Anyways, that's kind of neat. Maybe I should, before we tried item and it didn't have any effect, but we had a really small or huge step size. Let's do like step size of 3. There, 4. That's fine. Let's see if that has any effects. I still don't know what it actually does, but maybe that will produce something more interesting. Still loads alright. Oh, it's the actual item, like, coloring. That's kind of cool. And it's only items, not tools. That kind of explains the differentiation that we were talking about earlier. It differentiates them. They're different, and we know why now. With the message corruption, the ones that are not corrupted now weren't being affected, whereas the ones that are colored were being affected. So this just, I guess, only affects the, like, image, and that's about it. And only the image in our inventory, or when we pick it up. But it returns back to normal when we drop it. Huh, interesting. Yeah. I'm curious how else we can affect the visual corruptions. We'll try that a little bit more. Yeah, so just different variations of how that color's applied to it. By the way, they're just normal items. Neat. Alright, so moving on, we have... I don't know what Scon map is? No clue what Scon map is. Scon map. Let me check if there's any kind of description. It stands for something. Not that I can find. Let's corrupt it and find out. That's the best way to find out, right? Instead of shifting, though, we're going to random data set. So the actual map looks alright. And this map looks alright. SCON. No clue what that stands for. I was hoping it might be the inside of buildings, but no, that's also the same. Well, SCON. Not ringing any bells, so that doesn't seem to have any effect. Script. All types of scripts that run in the game. Let's try corrupting that. Ah, of course. The teleporting script to another screen is gone. Unfortunately, so we can't teleport to another screen. I also imagine door opening. Yes, door opening is also broken. Nice. Okay, let's increase our step size, so hopefully we can at least leave the area and do something else. I don't think that would be the case, though. Maybe our weapons won't even work either. Or our tools, I should say. Nope, that's broken still. Can we still not go inside? Nope. Can we interact with our dog? Yes. And that all works fine. Can we use a tool? We need to have a tool equipped. Does the tool work properly? It does. Huh. Okay, so scripts for teleporting the player to another map, or just using the map in general, doesn't work. What about this? This all works. Doors don't work. It's only scripts I can imagine. We could play around and try to figure out which script... Actually, yeah, let's do that. Let's try to see which script prevents us from leaving the area, and just corrupt the rest. And see if we can find anything else. So we know these three are safe, because we still can't leave the area. Let's try that. Is it really this last one? US bin? US bin? Oh, that actually breaks it. Okay, so we crashed there, which is another funny one. Can we enter a house? Still can't enter a house, because that's in one of these other ones. Okay, let's see until we don't break it. It's another crash. Another crash. Try those two. Another crash. I'm trying way too hard for this. The very top one? I'm trying too hard. I don't want to bother. Maybe it's multiples of these scripts working in tandem to prevent us from leaving the area. So it's not messing with scripts anymore. SCON map we've done, message we've done, map we've done, item we've done, font we've done, effect we've done, we haven't done console. That's our last one to do. Let's break some console. Which, if we remember... Also, we need to delete the directory, which I didn't do. Do that now. Recorrupt. Console has to do with like touching an animal, something about the background, a bunch of console messages, objects, face. This could be a lot of stuff. Could be. Might not be. It might actually just be a log that we're not seeing that's behind the scenes. That face. That's the face it's talking about. So that like little window we can't see anymore when we talk to people. Like this guy will probably crash us if we catch up to him. Yeah. We can't pick up... Pause it? What's going on? There we go. Can't pick up animals? Yeah, we can. Cool. So that still works. Is that corrupted? That is. Huh, look at that. Oh, we found a sprite. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. We got something, but we're not gonna be able to read or see it because dialogue breaks, so. Cool. Let's end it on... Well, first I want to try this. We're gonna corrupt everything now. Let's give that a go with 23 as our value. And we need our step size to be 500 because that's too little. The music's a nice touch. Oof. Okay. That's just garbage. Oh, we found a harvest right. Great. But we also broke it. Alright, I think we'll leave things there. Also because the music's starting to hurt my brain. Anyways, Harvest Moon corruptions, which are a lot of fun. Also, is my window a little bit off? It is. Let's adjust that back. Oh, they're all a little bit off. I didn't even notice that until now. Oh well. So, I don't know how much I'll be using this new VineCorrupt program. I dig it in the sense that we can specify with greater detail which memory domains we kind of want to corrupt. And we can look into them and figure out kind of what we're corrupting, get an idea of it. However, all of the annoying stuff with having to remove the directory, that I'm distracting it too if I ever want to change which feature I'm trying to corrupt, and having to close down the emulator specifically before I rerun a new corruption, that can kind of get in the way, so I don't know if I'm going to continue with this. I'm also curious. Let me try just a GameCube game real quick. I have... Do I have Harvest Moon ready? Oh, I mean... I thought I had Wonderful Life ready, but I don't. Wait, yeah, I do. I do have Harvest... that... Wonderful Life. It's in NUVR because that's where I have it right now. GameCube... No, Animal Crossing. So here's an example with Animal Crossing. Is that all we got? So we don't even get subdirectories. We just get these kind of smaller names like Forest 1, Forest 2, Opening. Not a whole lot. And this is a GameCube game. You would imagine there'd be more to it. Excuse me. Than a Nintendo DS game, but... But then again, audiorom.img, we're gonna know instantly what we're corrupting with that. Forester.map, we know we're corrupting the map itself. Opening, we know that's a cinematic. It's worth trying, just to switch things up and try different corruption methods. I'm also a little sad I can't create a stockpile out of this because I'm required to have the ROM. The only way to export these is to have the ROM itself be exported, as opposed to, say, a save state. So there's a downside there, as opposed to the Windows Glitch Harvester, I can use just save states on top of, say, one ROM file, which would be my own personal one, or whoever would download it needs to be the same version. So, you know, we'll try it some other time. But let's switch scenes here. We'll get ready to host someone. Now we'll browse around retro a little bit, see who's available. Oh, I just noticed I removed my Frankerface extension, and that usually tells me uptime. So I glance at streamers' uptime to see if I want to host them if they've been streaming for a while. I don't want to catch them right at the end. But I didn't do that, so... There's a guy doing Harvester, and I think I want to host him. I want to watch some Harvester, and usually I'm a little biased on who I host because I want to watch whoever I host for like 10-20 minutes. So yeah, I'm gonna host this guy. Thank you for everyone that was able to stop by. I appreciate all the hellos. And I'll see what I'm streaming next. Hopefully it'll be soon. I try to do every day, but I've fallen off that schedule, sadly. I will definitely get back into it when I'm in college, but unfortunately just at the moment I haven't been able to. But yeah, thanks again everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.